For decades, the United States enforced a strict boundary in the Middle East. The doctrine was simple: contain and suppress nuclear proliferation at all costs. We have seen this play out through aggressive diplomacy and heavy economic sanctions aimed squarely at halting Iran's nuclear ambitions. Yet Washington is now negotiating a sweeping 30-year civil nuclear cooperation agreement with its closest Arab ally, Saudi Arabia. The core of this proposed agreement extends beyond standard power plants. It includes discussions on granting the kingdom permission to operate domestic uranium enrichment facilities. Enrichment is the definitive threshold in nuclear science. The exact same process that produces low-enriched fuel for a civilian power plant can be scaled up to produce weapons-grade material. Historically, American diplomats have explicitly barred regional partners from possessing this capability, specifically to eliminate any risk of weaponization. Granting a single exception now reverses Washington's long-standing security framework, introducing a severe risk to the established balance of power across the region. Officially, this partnership is framed around civilian modernization. The stated goal is to help an expanding nation generate electricity and achieve ambitious clean energy targets. However, the momentum behind these negotiations is heavily driven by domestic economic policy. Rooted in an America First political strategy, the priority is securing advantages for American industry. A 30-year nuclear pact guarantees billions of dollars in highly lucrative contracts. It requires American companies to design reactors, supply specialized materials, and export high-level engineering. This arrangement ensures that U.S. manufacturing and technology sectors remain deeply integrated into the Saudi infrastructure for decades. Ultimately, this operates as a massive corporate transaction. The primary incentive for Washington is the injection of immense capital directly into the American economy. Every nation that eventually built a nuclear arsenal started with a similar premise. They argued their programs were entirely for peaceful electricity generation. The central issue is dual-use technology. A domestic reactor program inherently creates two pathways. The exact infrastructure required to power a city provides the physical foundation for military application. Once a country possesses its own enrichment infrastructure, the time required to build a bomb, often called the breakout window, collapses significantly. Because of this drastically reduced timeline, international security analysts treat civilian enrichment agreements as a form of latent military preparation. Exporting the tools for domestic enrichment provides the exact physical capacity and the engineering blueprint necessary to eventually construct a nuclear device. The immediate reaction to a U.S.-backed Saudi program will come from across the Persian Gulf. If Washington permits Saudi Arabia to enrich uranium, Iran will instantly highlight the double standard, demanding those exact same unrestricted rights for its own facilities. That diplomatic pressure creates a domino effect. Once Riyadh acquires the technology, neighboring states will refuse to be left behind, sparking a rapid regional arms race. Yet the country with the most to lose sits entirely outside the Middle East. Within the Islamic world, Pakistan currently holds a unique position as its foremost nuclear-armed power. For decades, Riyadh has leaned heavily on Islamabad for defense cooperation, treating Pakistan's arsenal as an ultimate security umbrella. If Saudi Arabia builds its own domestic nuclear capacity, that long-standing strategic reliance between the two nations completely evaporates overnight. By modernizing the Saudi nuclear framework, the United States inadvertently strips Islamabad of its primary diplomatic leverage, sharply reducing Pakistan's influence on the global stage. A nuclear competition in the Middle East does not remain contained to regional borders. The ripple effects directly threaten the global economy. Any escalation severely risks global energy markets. Oil prices spike, critical shipping lanes face disruption, and heavy importers bear the immediate brunt of the fallout. Right now, this agreement is still pending. It faces intense scrutiny and requires final approval from the United States Congress. This forces lawmakers to answer a critical question. Is this deal a measured step to support a key ally's transition toward clean energy? Or are domestic corporate profits taking precedence over the severe risks of spreading enrichment technology into a highly volatile region? The outcome of this vote determines the future of the Saudi power grid and dictates the strategic reality of the entire Middle East for the next generation.